Move. Now. This isn't a city bus, the man adds, voice sharp with contempt. Stop standing there like you own the aisle. My son doesn't squeeze past bargain bin passengers, he says, nodding toward the window seat. When money speaks, you step aside. Aaliyah Grant, black teenage girl, 16, dark brown skin, slim, neat braids pulled back, charcoal hoodie under a faded denim jacket, scuffed sneakers, battered backpack, and a folded Youth Summit program, freezes beside the divider curtain, close enough to the first-class cabin to smell the leather, far enough to be treated like a mistake on this commercial airline. Graham Kells, white billionaire passenger, 45, pale skin, silver-streaked hair, tailored navy coat, diamond watch, cold, amused eyes, blocks the aisle like he owns the air. His son, 7, restless, dressed like a miniature executive, points again. Dad, I want that window. Graham nods as if granting a royal wish. You heard him? He says, Scoot, my kid isn't sitting back there because you wandered into the wrong row. Aaliyah lifts her boarding pass with steady fingers. This is my assigned seat, sir, but I can ask the attendant to help you find yours. Graham laughs, a polished sound designed to recruit the cabin. A few passengers offer nervous half-chuckles, the kind that mean, please don't make this my problem. Assigned, he repeats. That's adorable. His eyes flick over her hoodie and backpack. On flights like this, assigned is a suggestion. Money is the assignment. Aaliyah keeps her voice calm. Please don't speak to me like that. Oh, listen to the attitude, Graham says, dripping sarcasm. He snaps his fingers toward the galley. Hey, airline policy says you handle disruptive passengers, right? Because I'm looking at one. The nearest attendant hesitates, caught between procedure and fear. Sir, she has a boarding pass. Graham cuts her off, with a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. So do a lot of people. Doesn't mean they belong up here. He leans toward Aaliyah, lowering his voice into something meaner. People like you cling to paper like it makes you equal. Aaliyah steps back half a pace, heart thudding. I'm not moving, she says softly, and don't touch me. That refusal offends him, not because it's loud, but because it exists. Graham straightens, turning the aisle into a stage. Everybody sees this, he announces. I'm trying to keep my son comfortable, and she's making it a scene. Then they'll say I'm the villain. His son whines. Dad! Graham's smile tightens. He points toward the curtain as if drawing a border. This side is for donors and decision makers. That side is for the rest. Aaliyah's throat burns, but she refuses to shrink. She turns slightly to the attendant. Ma'am, can you confirm my seat assignment and my passenger rights to remain seated? The words passenger rights strike Graham like an insult. He laughs, sharper. Passenger rights, he mocks, like a kid quoting the law because she saw it online. He lifts his hand, casual, arrogant, like he's brushing lint off his sleeve. And he slaps her. The crack slices through the cabin. Aaliyah's head snaps to the side. Heat blooms across her cheek. For one breathless second, the first-class cabin is silent. Then it fills with gasps. Oh my God, did he just... Aaliyah doesn't fall. She straightens slowly, eyes glassy but fixed forward. A thin bead of blood appears where her lip caught her tooth. Graham smiles like he corrected a problem. There, he says brightly. Now stop the performance. Move. My son is tired. The attendant steps forward, trembling. Sir, you can't. Graham raises one finger, warning. Careful. I donate more to this airline's foundation than your salary. Do you want headlines? Because I can give you headlines. He turns back to Aaliyah, voice slick with contempt. Here's how this works. You do what you're told, you keep your mouth shut, and you thank the universe you're allowed on this flight at all. Aaliyah tastes blood. Her hands shake once, then still. She forces her voice level. I need a supervisor, she says. Now. Graham scoffs. Supervisors answer to people like me. Aaliyah reaches into her pocket and starts recording. Screen low, angled discreetly. Her voice is clear, controlled. My name is Aaliyah Grant. This is flight. She glances down. On this commercial airline, a passenger assaulted me. I'm requesting crew assistance under airline policy and my passenger rights. Graham's smile flickers, the smallest crack. Put that away, he snaps, leaning in. You're not going to smear my name with some little video. I'm documenting an assault, Aaliyah replies. Around them, more, yay. Phones lift. Luxury dissolves into evidence. The cabin becomes a courtroom. Aaliyah closes her eyes and whispers the sentence her mother taught her to breathe when fear tries to take over. The Lord will fight for you. You need only be still. She opens her eyes again. Still, but not small. Behind the curtain, the final boarding call sounds. Footsteps enter the aisle. Steady. Aaliyah looks up and sees her mother step on board, eyes landing on Aaliyah's swollen cheek. And Graham, for the first time, goes quiet. If you have ever been treated like you didn't belong, what happens next, when Aaliyah's mother boards, will make you furious. Like subscribe and stay with dignity voices. Graham doesn't back down. He tries to turn the crew and policy itself into weapons against her. The aisle stayed suspended in that sick half-silence after violence, when everyone has seen it, but nobody wants to make it official. Aaliyah kept her phone low, recording. Her cheek pulsed. Her lip tasted like pennies. She forced her shoulders level, refusing to give the cabin a tear they could watch, and then forget. Graham acted like he'd fixed a minor inconvenience. There, he said, smoothing his cuff. Now we can proceed like civilized people. The lead flight attendant hovered, eyes pinned to Aaliyah's swelling face. Sir, she tried, you can't strike a passenger. Graham's power lived in how calmly he could lie. Don't be dramatic. She was escalating. My son felt unsafe. His son sniffled on cue. She scared me. Graham spread his hands, presenting the child like evidence. There's your incident report. I didn't touch him, Aaliyah said, voice steady. You hit me. Graham turned slightly, making an audience of the first rows. Always the victim. This is what happens when you let people bring their attitude onto planes. They think rules are armor. He paused and chose a loaded word. Clean enough. To say out loud, but sharp enough to wound. Aggressive. A few passengers looked away. A couple phones rose higher. Nobody moved. The attendant swallowed. Sir, please return to your seat while I... No, Graham cut in. You will remove her. Right now, before this becomes a spectacle. Aaliyah's thumb steadied on her screen. The red dot glowed. Graham noticed it and stepped closer. Put that away. You're not going to smear my name with some little video. I'm documenting an assault, Aaliyah replied. Graham laughed, sharp as glass. Assault? The world doesn't call it assault when someone like me corrects someone like you. Then, louder to the attendant. You want policy? Fine. Call the captain. Tell him there's a disruptive passenger refusing instructions and recording my child. Aaliyah's stomach tightened. She could feel the trap. If the crew wrote disruptive, the paper would become the truth. Ma'am, she said. Carefully, I want to make a statement. I want medical documentation. I want witnesses noted. The attendant hesitated, caught between procedure and the weight of Graham's influence. More passengers filed in. Overhead bins clicked. And then the aisle made room for a presence that changed the air. Aaliyah looked up. Her mother stepped into view. She didn't rush or shout. She walked with measured calm, eyes taking in the scene like a report. When she saw Aaliyah's cheek, pain flashed, then settled into control. Baby, she said softly. Aaliyah's throat tightened, but her mother's steadiness held her upright. Graham's confidence stuttered, just a blink too long, like he sensed danger without recognizing it. Aaliyah's mother turned to the attendant first. Who is the ranking crew member in charge? I'm the lead for this cabin, the attendant answered. Thank you, her mother said. Please inform the captain immediately that a passenger struck my daughter and is attempting to manipulate the report. I need crew names and a written statement started now. Graham scoffed, trying to reclaim the room. "Oh, here we go. A speech." She didn't react to his sarcasm. She shifted, so her body was between Aaliyah and Graham, marking a boundary. "Did you strike my child?" she asked, quiet. Graham grinned. "I corrected a situation." "Did you strike my child?" she repeated, same tone. His smile thinned. "She provoked me." A voice behind them finally broke the cowardice. "He hit her." Another. "We saw it." Graham snapped toward the witnesses. "Careful. Defamation is expensive." A few people shrank back. One man lowered his phone. Fear tried to retake the cabin. But Aaliyah's mother nodded once to the witnesses. "If you're willing, please keep your videos. The crew may request them." The attendant's breathing quickened. "Ma'am, I'm calling the captain. Please." "Her," mother said. Then she leaned toward Aaliyah, voice gentle but firm. "Keep recording. Don't argue. Let him hang himself with his own words." Aaliyah nodded. "He's trying to get me removed." Her mother's eyes lifted to Graham. "Then we'll see how far he's willing to push a lie when the truth is on camera." Graham forced a laugh, thinner now. "You don't understand how this works. I make one call and security meets this plane. I can have her escorted off like she's a threat." "Do it," her mother said softly. "Make the call." Graham froze for half a second, long enough for the cabin to feel the shift, then turned away and jabbed at his screen. Over the intercom, the captain's voice came on, firm and controlled. "Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated. Our crew is addressing a situation on board." Graham's head snapped up. Aaliyah's mother didn't move. And Aaliyah understood, with a tremor of fear and hope. This wasn't about a seat anymore. It was about whether a powerful man could turn policy into a weapon and whether the truth could survive the paperwork. If you've ever watched someone twist policy to silence you, then what happens next? When this billionaire pushes for security and tries to brand Aaliyah as a threat, will make your blood boil. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay with Dignity Voices to see how the cabin is about to flip, because Graham escalates his lie into an official accusation, and the crew must choose: protect a powerful man's image or protect a child's dignity. After the captain's announcement, the first-class cabin settles into a tense hush, eyes fixed on the aisle like everyone is waiting for the system to decide who matters. Graham stays standing, blocking the walkway with the confidence of a man who thinks the aircraft is leased to his ego. His phone gleams in his palm. His smile is tight and poisonous. "You're making a mistake," he tells the lead attendant. "You don't want me calling corporate or the board. A story like this destroys a brand." Aaliyah keeps recording, phone low at her side. Her cheek throbs, her lip stings, but she holds herself steady. Her mother remains close, one hand on Aaliyah's shoulder. A second attendant appears near the curtain. "Captain has been notified," she says. "He wants an incident summary now." Graham pounces. "Summary: disruptive passenger refused instructions, escalated near my child, created a safety concern. I intervened. End of story." "Assault," Aaliyah's mother corrects. "That's the summary." Graham scoffs. "This is a setup. They provoke, they record, they cry, and then they sue." A passenger behind them speaks up. "He slapped her." Graham turns with a polished smile. "You didn't see context." His eyes harden. "Unless you want to get dragged into litigation for false statements." The witness goes quiet. Graham leans toward the lead attendant again. "Your airline policy covers disruptive behavior. Use it. Remove her. If you don't, I'll make sure your supervisors know you let a threat near my child." "My child wasn't a threat," Aaliyah's mother says. "Oh," Graham replies, brushing his son's hair back and raising his voice. "Tell them what she did." The boy sniffles. She wouldn't move." Aaliyah's stomach turns. Wouldn't move. As if existing in her seat is violence. The curtain shifts. The captain steps out, calm, practical authority, with a security-trained crew member behind him. "What's happening?" the captain asks. Graham surges forward, rehearsed. "Disruptive passenger refused instructions, intimidated my son, recorded him, escalated the cabin. I need her removed before pushback." Aaliyah's mother answers, controlled. "He struck my daughter. He's pressuring staff to falsify the report. Witnesses recorded it." The captain's eyes move to Aaliyah's cheek. Swelling, split lip, evidence that doesn't care about status. Graham tries to cut in. "Bruises happen, people exaggerate. I support this airline. I'm preventing a problem." The captain's voice sharpens. "Sir, you are standing in the aisle. Return to your seat." "I'm cooperating," Graham says. "Return to your seat." Graham drops into his seat, resentful. "Fine, but you'll regret humiliating me." Aaliyah's mother keeps her tone even. "Captain, we're asking for standards. Passenger rights protected, policy followed." The captain nods once and looks at Aaliyah. "Do you feel safe right now?" "Not with him hovering over me," Aaliyah says. "Understood." The captain turns to the lead attendant. "Start documentation. Names, seat numbers, witness requests. Preserve any video." Graham's smile cracks. Paperwork is turning into evidence. He leans forward, quieter, bargaining. "This airline doesn't want a scandal. I can make this go away, quietly. But it starts with her moving, and you keeping this off the record." Aaliyah's mother looks at him steadily. "This became a scandal when you put your hand on a child." Graham's voice drops into venom. "Lady, I can crush reputations. I can bury people." "Then start with the truth," she replies. "You hit a child." The captain cuts in. "No threats." He gestures to the security-trained crew member. "Sir, remain seated while we complete the report." "You can't detain me," Graham spits. "We're enforcing safety procedures," the captain answers. "Your cooperation determines what happens next." The lead attendant opens her notepad. "Aaliyah, do you need medical assistance?" "At landing," Aaliyah says. "Please note my injury." "And your statement?" Aaliyah draws one slow breath. "He ordered me to move. I refused. He slapped me. Then he tried to label me disruptive so you'd remove me." The attendant writes it down, line by line. Graham laughs too loudly, trying to poison the record. "So polished, like she rehearsed it." He stage whispers, loud enough to carry. "This is how it starts. Next comes the lawsuit. Next comes the donation shakedown. They'll toss around phrases like corporate negligence and legal accountability until someone pays." Aaliyah's mother turns her head slowly. "Those aren't buzzwords when you've lived the cost," she says. The captain's voice stays level. "Sir, stop speaking about the incident." "Or what?" Graham challenges. "Or you will be removed," the captain answers. Silence. The cabin finally believes removal is possible. Around them, phones remain raised like lanterns. A few passengers quietly offer names to the attendant. Others stare at their laps, ashamed. Graham's son stops whining, sensing the mood. For once, money can't buy the room. Aaliyah's chest loosens by a fraction. Not because the fear is gone, but because truth is finally landing. Her mother leans close, voice soft. "You're not alone. We tell the truth." Aaliyah's eyes sting. She holds her tears back, not as surrender, but as dignity, and whispers, "Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled." The captain turns to the lead attendant. "Notify ground personnel to meet us at the gate for statements. Preserve all evidence." Graham jerks his head up. "For her?" The captain looks at him evenly. "For the situation you created." Graham stares, rage battling calculation. He can't win in the light, so he decides he'll try to win in the shadows. If you've ever watched someone try to rewrite the truth with money, threats, and paperwork, then what happens next when Graham weaponizes the system to protect his image will make you furious. Like, subscribe and stay with Dignity Voices to see how legal accountability is about to expose corporate negligence in front of everyone. One phone call turns the airline cold. Aaliyah is treated like a suspect, and her mother is forced to trigger a protocol that will shake the entire company. The plane still hasn't pushed back, but the cabin already feels like a courtroom where the verdict is being drafted somewhere else. In the first-class cabin, voices drop to whispers. Screens glow, phones stay raised. Even the air smells sharper, like metal before a storm breaks over runway lights. Aaliyah sits upright with her recording still running low at her side, her cheek pulsing, her lips split, her spine refusing to fold. Her mother stands close, one hand resting on the seatback behind Aaliyah like an anchor. Graham Kells sits across the aisle with the relaxed posture of a man who believes consequence is something that happens to other people. "Captain," Graham says, smooth and loud enough for the front rows, "this is spiraling. You want safety? De-escalation. Separate the parties. Remove the agitator. My son is frightened." The captain remains near the curtain, calm but firm. "Sir, remain seated while we complete documentation." Graham chuckles. "Of course. I'll need your name, Captain." "And yours," he adds, pointing at the lead attendant. "Because if this airline mishandles a child safety incident, that's negligence." The lead attendant flinches, then forces a professional tone. "We're following procedure." "Procedure," Graham repeats, amused. "Procedure is whatever protects the company." Aaliyah's mother turns slightly toward the attendant. "Please note he's attempting to influence your report." The attendant's belt handset crackles. She steps behind the galley curtain, listening, then speaking in a low, urgent voice. Aaliyah catches fragments through the fabric. Operations, donor, reputational, minimize, relocate, avoid delay. When the attendant returns, her face is tightened into a careful neutrality. "Captain, operations recommends we de-escalate by relocating the affected passenger." Aaliyah's stomach drops. "Affected passenger?" she asks. The attendant avoids her eyes. "Aaliyah. Temporarily. To an open seat further back." The words land like a clean, quiet punishment. The cabin shifts. Some people look away. Others lift their phones higher. Her mother's voice stays controlled. Relocating the victim while the aggressor remains seated is not de-escalation. It's validation of his lie. Graham raises both hands, pretending gentleness. "Don't take it personally. It's logistics." Aaliyah exhales, bitter. "People move when they choose to." The captain exhales, measured. "Aaliyah, would you be willing to move so we can depart and address this fully at landing?" "I'm willing to cooperate with statements," Aaliyah says. "I'm not willing to be labeled the problem. I paid for my seat. I have passenger rights like everyone else." Graham leans forward, eager. Then she's refusing a crew instruction. "Write it down." Her mother's gaze snaps to him. "Stop using policy language as a club." Graham's smile sharpens. "Policy exists for order. If she can't follow it, she shouldn't fly. That's not racism. It's reality." The captain's handset crackles again. He listens, shoulders tightening. When he turns back, his voice is still professional, but colder. Operations is concerned about reputational risk. They want resolution without delaying departure. Aaliyah's mother tilts her head. "Reputational risk for whom?" The captain doesn't answer. The silence says, "For the man with the donations." The lead attendant clears her throat. "Ma'am, operations is requesting identification from you." Aaliyah's mother keeps her tone even. "Why?" "They want to confirm who you are." Aaliyah's mother holds the cabin in a quiet stare. "You didn't ask him for identification," Graham snorts. "I'm not the one causing trouble." Her mother's voice goes quieter, sharper. "This is how corporate negligence happens, not in one dramatic moment, but in small, biased steps that get renamed procedure." She reaches into her bag and removes a slim wallet. but she doesn't hand it over yet. "Before I show you anything," she says, "document that my daughter was assaulted and that you attempted to relocate her rather than address the aggressor." The captain nods once. "Noted." Graham's knee starts bouncing. "Captain, you can't let her dictate operations." The captain's eyes stay on the mother. "Ma'am, show me the identification." She opens the wallet and flashes the card to the lead attendant first. The attendant's face changes instantly, color draining, posture snapping into sudden respect. "Captain," the attendant whispers. The captain steps closer, glances at the card, and something in him resets. Recognition, authority. "Yes, ma'am," he says, tone crisp. Graham leans forward, voice rising. "What is that? What are you showing them?" The mother slides the card back into her wallet. "Not for you," she replies, calm. Graham's smile flickers, then hardens. "You think a badge scares me? I fund this airline. I can bury this." Her mother finally looks him in the eye. "You understand leverage," she says, "not ownership." Graham's hand flies to his phone. "I'm calling corporate right now." The mother lifts her phone and taps once. "So am I." The captain steps into the aisle, between them. "Sir, stop making calls during an active safety incident." "You can't tell me what to do," Graham snaps. The captain doesn't blink. "Watch me." Her mother turns to the captain. "I'm requesting internal escalation," she says. "Board-level protocol." The captain straightens. "Confirm your request, ma'am." Her mother speaks a phrase that sounds too simple to carry power. "Please initiate Protocol 7. The lead attendant goes still. The captain's gaze locks. Somewhere beyond the curtain, an invisible door seems to open. Quiet, heavy, irreversible. Graham's voice cracks with anger. "What is Protocol 7? The captain raises a hand without looking at him. "Sir, sit." For the first time, Graham hesitates. He sits, but his eyes narrow, calculating. Aaliyah's hands tremble beneath the armrest. Her mother's fingers find hers and squeeze once, steady, warm. The captain turns toward the galley, speaking into his handset with controlled urgency. "Hold departure. Secure all video evidence. Notify ground leadership." Graham stares at the mother, and a flicker of recognition passes through his face, as if a name has finally surfaced from memory. Aaliyah watches him realize, too late, that this isn't a complaint he can buy off. It's a correction coming from above him, and it's about to reach the entire company. The moment the captain says, "Hold departure," the cabin seems to inhale and forget how to exhale. The first-class cabin, minutes ago a showroom of warm lighting and quiet privilege, turns clinical, like the air has been filtered through authority. Phones hover in hands, recording, because everyone senses this is no longer gossip. It's evidence. Graham Kells sits across the aisle with a posture that tries to look bored. His eyes keep flicking to the curtain, to the cockpit door, to the crew, searching for the lever he always pulls. Money, influence, a name that makes people flinch. "Protocol 7, he scoffs, forcing a laugh to cover the crack. "What is that? Some little staff code to feel important?" No one answers. The silence isn't fear anymore. It's procedure. The lead attendant steps forward with her tablet, voice steadier now. "We are preserving documentation. Witness names are being collected. Passenger recordings noted." Aaliyah remains seated, phone low at her side, red dot glowing like a heartbeat. Her cheek throbs. Her lip stings when she swallows. She keeps her gaze forward, refusing to look like a child begging for mercy in a room that just watched her get struck. Her mother stands close enough to steady her without turning it into theater. Aaliyah can feel her fingers against hers, grounding, not gripping. The message is simple. You are not alone, and you will not be pushed into silence. Graham leans in, voice low and sharp. "Lady, you're making this worse for your kid. Airlines protect their brand, not random passengers." Aaliyah's mother turns her head slowly. Then they should protect it by doing what's right. He snorts. Right? Your daughter refused a simple request, recorded my child, and created a disturbance. If you want a smooth flight, you'll accept a quiet solution. The captain, still near the curtain, doesn't raise his voice. Sir, remain seated. Graham's jaw tightens. I am seated. I'm also speaking. You can speak, the captain replies, but you can't direct the process. A chime sounds from the forward galley handset. The captain steps behind the curtain to take the call. Aaliyah can't hear every word, but she hears the shape of them. Short, formal, urgent. When he returns, his eyes are sharper. Departure remains held, he announces. Corporate security and an executive duty officer are meeting the aircraft. Graham can't help himself. He stands. The security-trained crew member steps into the aisle immediately, palm out. Sir, remain seated. Graham sneers. Get your hand out of my face. It's not in your face, the crew member replies evenly. It's in your boundary. A couple passengers gasp. Someone whispers, finally. Another phone rises higher. Graham drops back into his seat, resentful. His fingers drum the armrest in an expensive rhythm. The lead attendant approaches Aaliyah's mother. Ma'am, we need your statement and your request. My request is simple, her mother says. Document everything. Preserve all footage. Do not relocate my daughter or pressure her into compliance. She has passenger rights and she will not be treated like the offender. The attendant nods and types fast. Understood. Graham laughs bitterly. Passenger rights. You keep saying that like it means something once the doors close. The captain answers without looking at him. It means something now. Aaliyah's chest loosens a fraction. Not relief. Proof. Her mother crouches slightly so her voice stays private. You okay? Aaliyah's honesty slips out. I'm trying. Her mother squeezes her fingers once. That's enough. A soft knock comes from the forward door. A gate supervisor appears at the threshold, and beside him stands a corporate security representative in a dark suit. No weapon visible, but posture all enforcement. The cabin straightens instinctively. The captain meets them at the entryway. Quiet words pass. The representative's eyes flick to Aaliyah's face, then to Graham. His expression changes. Recognition of risk, not admiration. He steps forward. Mr. Kells, we need you to deplane for a statement before departure. Graham jolts upright. Excuse me? For a statement, the representative repeats. This is a Protocol 7 incident. We require cooperation. Graham's voice rises. I donate millions to this airline. You're removing me because a teenager is playing victim? We're not debating motives, the representative says. We're documenting facts. Graham points toward Aaliyah. Facts? She refused instructions. She recorded my child. She escalated. The facts include visible injury, the captain cuts in. Witnesses, video. Graham's mouth opens, then closes. For the first time, he realizes the cabin isn't his audience anymore. It's a record. He tries to bargain, smoothing his tone. No one wants a delay. No one wants headlines. He looks at Aaliyah's mother. Name your price. A check. A private apology. An upgrade for life. We move on. Aaliyah's stomach turns. Pain offered like a transaction. Her mother's answer is immediate. No. Graham blinks. No. No, she repeats. Because you don't get to teach your son that hurting someone is solved by paying them to be quiet. Graham's face tightens. You're making a mistake. You made the mistake when you put your hand on a child, her mother replies, still calm. The representative gestures again. Mr. Kells, please stand and bring your belongings. Graham rises slowly, anger contained behind a thin smile. He turns to the cabin, loud and performative. Everyone record? This. This airline is targeting me. This is discrimination. This is a setup. Phones keep recording, but faces show disgust and disbelief. He steps into the aisle. The security-trained crew member stays close, not touching him, but closing off escape routes with presence alone. The corporate representative leads him toward the door. As Graham passes Aaliyah, he pauses and leans in just enough for her to hear. His voice is soft, poisonous. "This isn't over." Aaliyah looks up, cheeks swollen, eyes steady, and says nothing. She keeps her phone angled toward him until he moves. Her mother bends close, forehead nearly touching Aaliyah's. "Truth doesn't need permission to exist," she whispers. "It only needs you to stay standing." Aaliyah swallows hard. "What if they still twist it?" "Then we stand anyway," her mother says. "We don't fear powerful people who confuse money for authority." Her mother's gaze lifts briefly, anchored beyond the aircraft. She speaks one sentence, quiet and steady. "God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble." At the doorway, Graham hesitates, looking back as if the cabin should apologize. It doesn't. He steps onto the jet bridge. The door closes. The cabin exhales. The captain addresses everyone, controlled. "Thank you for your patience. We will proceed once documentation is secured." Aaliyah ends the recording. Her hands finally shake in the open, and her mother covers them gently. The flight still hasn't moved, but everything has changed. The system has stopped bending for him, because in the next phase, the pressure won't be in this aisle. It will be in the offices above this aircraft, where reputations are defended and decisions are made. If you've ever seen power try to buy silence after cruelty, what happens next will shock you. Like, subscribe, and stay with Dignity Voices, because the truth is about to climb past this cabin. Lawyers and executives rush in, and lines get crossed fast. The aircraft door stays shut, but the jet bridge becomes a hallway of consequences. Inside the cabin, time stretches. No pushback, no safety video, no friendly chime. Just waiting, while Aaliyah's swollen cheek sits in plain sight like a siren. The captain keeps everyone seated. The lead attendant moves with a notepad and tablet like they're suddenly heavier than luggage. Each line she writes feels like it could end a career. Aaliyah sits upright, hands folded, phone face down now, but the slap keeps replaying. The sound, the heat, the way the cabin went quiet to protect a rich man's comfort. Whispers drift through the first-class cabin. "I saw it," he threatened the crew. "I have the video." Then the forward door clicks, hard, deliberate. Two figures step in with crisis management calm, corporate security and the executive duty officer. A paramedic follows, expression on injuries, not influence. The duty officer wears a smile practiced in boardrooms and press releases. "Thank you for your patience," he says. "We're going to resolve this quickly and get everyone on their way." Aaliyah's mother steps half a pace forward, controlled. "Resolve it by documenting it correctly," she says, "not by rushing it." "Of course," the duty officer replies. "We value every passenger. We also have an operation to run." The paramedic kneels beside Aaliyah, checks swelling, shines a small light at her lip, asks about dizziness and pain. Aaliyah answers clearly. The paramedic photographs the injury with a timestamp. The flash pops, and several passengers lift their phones higher. "I'm sorry this happened," the duty officer says to Aaliyah. "We take safety seriously." Aaliyah doesn't answer. She looks at her mother, who gives a single nod. "Let him talk." The duty officer turns to the mother. "Ma'am, we'd like to speak privately." "No," she says. He blinks. "Pardon?" "My daughter was assaulted in public," she replies. "Any conversation about what happened will happen on the record." "I understand," the duty officer says softly. "We want to protect your daughter from attention, from becoming a spectacle." "You mean you want to protect the airline," she corrects. "Mr. Kells is an important partner," he begins. "He struck a child," she cuts in. "Partner is not a defense." The duty officer shifts to numbers wrapped in kindness. "We can provide support, medical reimbursement, travel credit, compensation for the inconvenience." "Inconvenience," the mother repeats, quiet and sharp. He lowers his voice. "We can offer a written apology and a confidentiality agreement." It keeps your daughter out of headlines. It ensures closure. Aaliyah feels closure like a lid being pressed over her mouth. You mean an NDA, the mother says. He doesn't deny it. You want her bruises? Filed under private while his reputation stays pristine, she continues. And you want it done before this plane moves. The duty officer's smile slips, just enough for the cabin to notice. A passenger stands, trembling but determined. I recorded everything, she says. The slap, the threats, the part where he tried to make the crew write her up. Another voice joins. I have him calling her disruptive to get her removed. Multiple angles, multiple timestamps. The duty officer inhales, recalibrating. All right, he says, then we proceed formally. He turns to the captain, voice official. This flight is under incident hold. We will delay departure until evidence transfer and statements are complete. From the jet bridge, Graham's voice erupts, muffled but furious. I'm not giving you my phone. Call my attorney. The corporate security chief steps to the threshold and speaks into his radio, low and controlled. He returns with the calm that means decisions are being made without Graham's permission. Mr. Kells is refusing to comply, he reports. He's refusing preservation requests and threatening contracts. Aaliyah's mother nods once. Document the refusal as obstruction. The duty officer hesitates, then nods. Noted. He faces the mother. Ma'am, we need identification for the record. The captain already verified it, she replies. The duty officer looks at the captain, confused. The captain answers carefully. She requested Protocol 7. The duty officer's posture shifts, confidence draining into caution. Protocol 7 is board level. Yes, the mother says. He asks her name again. She gives it, and something in his expression changes as if memory clicks into place. The performance ends. Understood, he says, 2 words that sound like surrender. He turns to security. Request airport police at the jet bridge. Non-compliance. Potential witness interference. Secure the devices. The cabin goes still at the word police. Not fear, gravity. The duty officer addresses the passengers, clear and formal. If you recorded video, please retain it. Corporate security will request copies through a secure process. Do not delete, edit, or post until contacted. This is an active investigation. Graham's shouting flares again, closer now, then breaks off into sharper, shorter sounds. A firm command, a refusal, footsteps moving away. The corporate security chief returns to the aisle, eyes steady. Mr. Kells has been removed from the flight, he announces. He will be met by airport police for statement and further action. A hush sweeps the cabin. Relief, disbelief, and the strange quiet that follows when a bully's voice stops controlling the room. Aaliyah's mother doesn't celebrate. She simply says, "Now let the record be true." The paramedic hands Aaliyah a form. Aaliyah signs with a steady hand. Her mother signs as witness. The lead attendant collects names and seat numbers like precious stones, each one a piece of truth that can't be buried. The captain leans toward Aaliyah's mother, voice low. Do you want to continue this flight? Aaliyah answers first, quiet but firm. Yes. Her mother nods. We continue, she says, but we continue with protection, not punishment. The captain's eyes soften a fraction. Understood. As the cabin begins to breathe again, Aaliyah realizes the fight has climbed past this aisle, into executive offices and legal departments where people don't swing hands. They swing documents. And now, for the first time, the documents belong to the truth. The plane finally pushes back, but the real movement is happening somewhere no passenger can see. Inboxes lighting up, phones vibrating, executives waking up to a fire that doesn't care how expensive the furniture is. Aaliyah sits with her, mother in steady silence while the cabin exhales. Across the aisle, the seat where Graham sprawled like a landlord is now empty, a space louder than any shout. The lead attendant finishes her witness list, hands firm now, because the system has started shaking for her. On the jet bridge, airport police take Graham's statement. He argues like the rules are negotiable. like volume can rewrite timestamps. He demands his lawyer, threatens to end careers, name drops donors and friends at corporate. But every threat lands weaker because the videos exist on more than one phone. The corporate security chief doesn't raise his voice. He simply repeats, "Preserve your device. This is evidence." When Graham refuses again, the words change. Non-compliance will be noted. Graham's face tightens. Not fear, not guilt. Calculation. He lost the cabin. So he tries to win the company. 15 minutes after takeoff, the executive duty officer is already in a small airport. Conference room with 2 laptops open and legal counsel on speaker. The screen shows a timeline. Slap, threats, attempted relocation, Protocol 7, clean bullets, no emotion, just liability. A message pops up from PR. Multiple passenger uploads on X, TikTok, Instagram, trending locally. Media inquiries incoming. On the jet bridge, Graham tries to seize the story before it can grow legs. He calls a crisis consultant, pacing in front of the window where passengers can see his silhouette. "I was threatened," he insists, voice sharp, rehearsing a headline. "My child was endangered." When the officer asks him to repeat it for the record, he hesitates. Because a record doesn't applaud, it measures. He pivots to intimidation instead. "Do you know who I am?" The officer doesn't answer. A body-worn camera does. The duty officer closes his eyes for 1 second. Then he says the word brands always reach for. "Contain it." Legal counsel cuts in. "This isn't containment. It's documentation. If we're seen suppressing evidence, it becomes corporate negligence." "Corporate negligence," the duty officer repeats, tasting the phrase like it burns. On board, Simone's phone vibrates again and again. She waits until the cabin is stable, then answers in a calm voice. "Simone Grant." A pause. The caller lowers their tone, inserting respect too late. "Dr. Grant, this is customer care. We'd like to—" "No," Simone says softly. "You'd like to control the narrative. Start by controlling your facts." "We are deeply sorry," the caller says. "We can offer restitution, and we'll ensure Mr. Kells—" "Don't say his name like a storm that passed," Simone replies. "Say what he did. He struck a minor. He tried to weaponize policy. Your staff hesitated because of his influence." Silence. "We want to schedule a private call. Any call includes counsel," Simone says. "Any agreement includes transparency." She ends it, not angrily, just finally. At headquarters, an emergency chat thread explodes across departments. Security, ops, legal, PR, executive office. The subject line is bland, in-flight incident, Protocol 7. But every person who opens it feels their stomach drop. A junior comms manager posts a still frame. Graham's raised hand, Aaliyah's face turned. Another adds a clip of him threatening the crew. Then a third, the moment operations recommended relocating Aaliyah. The thread goes quiet for 5 seconds. The kind of silence that happens when people realize the company has been recorded making the wrong choice. Then the CEO's chief of staff types, board convening in 30 minutes. In the boardroom, glass walls reflect worried faces. The airline's general counsel speaks first, blunt. "We have assault on video, witness statements, and an ops recommendation that reads biased. This isn't customer service, it's governance." A VP offers a soft line. "We can say, we're investigating." General counsel shakes her head. Not enough. The question is whether we admit failure and correct it. Analytics climb on a second screen. A hashtag forms around one sentence a passenger captions under the video. "He thought she'd move because he was rich." The CEO arrives late, jaw tight. "Where is Kells?" "Removed," security says. Police statement. Device requested. Non-compliance noted. The CEO doesn't blink. "Terminate all partnership agreements. Effective immediately." A murmur. "He's a major sponsor." "Then we return the money," the CEO replies. Publicly. The room changes. Returning money isn't PR, it's confession. Legal counsel turns a page. We also have crew exposure, the relocation recommendation, the hesitation. The CEO nods once. Administrative leave for any supervisor who instructed staff to move the victim. Mandatory retraining for premium cabin teams. Rewrite policy. Relocation of assaulted passengers is prohibited unless they request it. Costly, someone whispers. Good, the CEO says. Dignity costs less than lawsuits. Back on the plane, Aaliyah watches Simone's phone light up again. Simone sends 3 messages. Counsel, compliance, aboard contact. No paragraphs, only coordinates, like moving pieces into place. Aaliyah leans close. Is this going to get worse? Simone answers without sugar. Yes, before it gets right. And him? He'll learn there's a difference between privilege and authority. When they land, the gate is crowded. Corporate security, an officer, a supervisor with a clipboard. Not chaos, procedure. The kind of procedure Graham tried to steal. A corporate representative approaches with a printed letter. Ms. Grant, we are issuing an immediate suspension of Mr. Kells from all airline services pending investigation. We are initiating a formal review of operations, decisions made on board. Simone reads it once, then looks up. This is a start, she says, but justice isn't a memo. The CEO will issue an executive apology today, the representative adds, and the board is convened. Simone turns to Aaliyah, voice softening. Remember what you did. You stayed steady. You told the truth. Aaliyah nods, eyes burning. It didn't feel brave. It never does, Simone replies. It feels like surviving. Behind them, passengers trade numbers to share footage. The lead attendant quietly thanks each witness. For the first time all day, Aaliyah feels the cabin choose her humanity over his money. As they walk into the terminal, Simone speaks one sentence like a quiet seal over the day. Vengeance is mine, I will repay, says the Lord. The airline's headquarters doesn't look like a place where children get slapped. It looks like glass, marble, and polished statements. But this morning, the building feels different. Like everyone inside can hear the echo of a sound they wish the world never recorded. Aaliyah sits in a quiet conference room beside her mother, Simone Grant, watching a live press feed on a wall-mounted screen. Aaliyah's cheek has shifted from angry red to a deep violet bruise, a small storm under her skin. It isn't just pain, it's proof. On camera, the CEO steps up to a podium. The logo behind her shines like armor, but her posture is not triumphant. It's restrained, almost heavy. For a moment, the room waits for the usual corporate language, soft verbs, vague regret, careful distance. But the CEO begins with a sentence that breaks the pattern. This company failed a child. Silence. Then cameras click faster. The CEO continues, steady. A passenger assaulted a minor on board. Our crew hesitated. Our processes prioritized speed and comfort over protection. That is unacceptable. Today, I'm issuing an executive apology to Aaliyah Grant, to her Raishi family, and to every passenger who witnessed this. Aaliyah's throat tightens. An apology doesn't undo a bruise. But it does something else. It makes the truth official. The CEO gestures to a screen behind her. Bullet points appear. Cold, structured, irreversible. Immediate policy rewrite. Victim relocation prohibited unless requested. Mandatory bias and escalation training for premium cabin teams. Independent oversight audit for complaint handling. Disciplinary review for supervisors who recommended relocation evidence preservation protocol for all onboard incidents. This is not reputation management, the CEO says, looking into the camera as if daring the public to test her. This is brand accountability, because our brand must be defined by how we protect the vulnerable, not how we appease the powerful. Reporters pounce. Is there a settlement? Yes, the CEO answers without flinching. A settlement agreement has been reached. It includes medical care, compensation, and, more importantly, enforceable reform benchmarks. If we miss them, penalties apply. This is not hush money. It is correction. Another reporter. What about the billionaire passenger? The CEO's eyes harden. He is permanently banned from our services pending the legal outcome. All partnership ties are terminated, and any associated donations are being returned. Influence will not override safety. Aaliyah watches the feed end. The room stays quiet, a beat longer than necessary. Then Simone stands. Press conferences are easy, Simone says, voice calm but sharp. Systems are harder. Let's see what they do when the cameras turn off. That afternoon, they walk into a boardroom that once felt untouchable. Aaliyah expects polished smiles. Instead, she finds tension. Executives sitting straighter than usual, legal counsel lined up with folders, an independent compliance officer on speakerphone. The atmosphere isn't welcoming. It's braced. Aaliyah takes a seat at the long table. The same kind of table where decisions get made that never touch the people they affect. Today, it touches her. A senior executive starts speaking in rehearsed lines about values and learning. Simone lifts her hand, gentle but absolute. No scripts. The room stills. Aaliyah surprises herself by speaking next. Her voice is quiet, but it doesn't shake. When he hit me, the system didn't know whether to protect me or protect him. That's the problem. Not the slap. The hesitation. A thick silence fills the room, because everyone understands that hesitation is measurable, and measurable means accountable. The compliance officer confirms deadlines. The general counsel confirms enforcement. The board chair confirms consequences for failure. Names are not spoken aloud, but careers shift in the air anyway. When the meeting ends, Simone and Aaliyah step into a hallway lined with framed awards, shiny reminders of reputation. Aaliyah pauses by a window overlooking the runway and watches a plane lift into the sky, smooth and clean, as if nothing ugly ever happens inside. Simone stands beside her. "You held your ground," she says softly. Aaliyah breathes out, slow. "I didn't feel brave," Simone answers, steady. Bravery rarely feels like victory. It feels like refusing to disappear. Aaliyah nods, and in that moment, the bruise on her cheek stops feeling like a mark of shame. It becomes a mark of change. Aaliyah's strength wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was disciplined. She didn't win by overpowering Graham. She won by refusing to let his power rewrite her worth. Even bleeding, she stayed clear. She recorded. She told the truth. She made the system face what it usually hides behind smiles and policies. Graham is the opposite kind of force, privilege that confuses comfort with authority. His cruelty wasn't only in his hand, it was in his strategy. He tried to turn policy into a weapon, tried to label the victim as the threat, tried to buy silence with a settlement before truth could spread. He believed money was a shield. What he didn't expect was evidence, and a mother who refused to trade dignity for convenience. If we want a better, healthier, safer, happier world, we can't only condemn cruelty. We have to correct the systems that enable it. That means speaking up when it's uncomfortable. That means filming when truth is being twisted. That means protecting the vulnerable even when the powerful complain. And it means refusing to laugh along, look away, or stay quiet just to keep the flight smooth. God's word teaches us that dignity is not fragile. It's guarded. Scripture says, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only be still." Still doesn't mean silent. It means anchored. It means you don't surrender your soul to someone else's rage. And when you stand for what is right, even trembling, heaven counts it. If this story moved you, if you've ever felt pushed aside, silenced, or treated like you didn't belong, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay with Dignity Voices. Because the next story will remind you again, your dignity is not up for negotiation, and change begins the moment someone chooses truth over comfort.